Success claws its way into your life through one force alone: raw, unwavering discipline. The power that turns ordinary people into champions, transforms dreamers into achievers, and writes history through sweat, commitment, and sheer determination. I think about Marcus, a man I met in Detroit during the harsh winter of 1992. Back then, he lived in a tiny apartment, surviving on canned beans and determination. Every morning, while the city slept under its blanket of snow, Marcus woke at 4 a.m. to study coding. No excuses, no days off, no backing down. His family thought he was crazy. His friends mocked his schedule. But Marcus understood something they didn't. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. 3 years later, I watched Marcus open his own software company. Today, his business employs over 200 people. The secret? Nothing magical, no hidden formula, just pure, relentless discipline. The kind that forces you to keep your promises to yourself. The kind that makes you do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. And that's the power of discipline. It wins every time. Most people get it wrong about discipline. They see it as chains, as punishment, as something that holds them back. But that's like saying a ship's rudder restricts its freedom. Without that rudder, you're just drifting, pushed around by every wave and current that comes your way. Discipline isn't punishment. It's the highest form of self-respect. It's telling yourself the truth and keeping the promises you make to yourself. Think about it. Every time you hit that alarm and get up instead of hitting snooze, you're building trust with yourself. Every time you finish what you start, you're strengthening your character. These aren't restrictions. They're building blocks of personal power. I remember talking to a banker in Cincinnati. He said something that stuck with me. I used to think discipline meant giving up everything I enjoyed. Now I realize it means giving up what I want right now, for what I want most. That's the essence of it. Discipline isn't about suffering. It's about choosing your priorities. Look at your daily actions. The small things you do or don't do, they're like votes for your future. Every time you choose to read instead of watching TV, you're voting for growth. Every time you save instead of spend carelessly, you're voting for financial freedom. Every time you choose healthy food over junk, you're voting for vitality. These small actions might seem insignificant in the moment, but they're the seeds of your future success. Take writing a book, for instance. You don't write a book in a day. You write it one page at a time, one word at a time. The discipline to sit down every day, to put words on paper when you don't feel inspired, when you're tired, when you'd rather be doing anything else, that's what turns a dream into reality. Here's what most people miss about discipline. It actually creates freedom. When you have the discipline to wake up early, you gain the freedom of quiet, productive hours. When you have the discipline to maintain your health, you gain the freedom of energy and vitality. When you have the discipline to manage your money, you gain financial freedom. It's like building a sturdy ship. The discipline of construction gives you the freedom to sail anywhere. The small daily actions, they're like compound interest for your life. Just as money grows through compound interest, success grows through compound actions. The discipline to make one sales call leads to the next and the next, until suddenly you're a top performer. The discipline to practice your craft for 1 hour today and tomorrow and the next day transforms you into a master. But here's the key. These actions must be consistent. Sporadic effort brings sporadic results. The power lies in the daily discipline, the unsexy, unglamorous commitment to showing up every single day. That's what separates the professionals from the amateurs, the achievers from the dreamers. I once met a surgeon who told me, "Nobody sees the thousands of hours I spent practicing sutures. They only see the perfect stitches I make today." That's discipline, the willingness to do the work when nobody's watching, to practice when nobody's applauding, to persist when nobody's encouraging you. And remember this, discipline isn't about perfection. It's about progress. You'll miss days. You'll make mistakes. The key is to get back on track immediately. Don't let a slip become a slide. True discipline isn't about never falling. It's about getting up every time you fall. You see, discipline is like laying tracks for a railroad. Each day, each action, you're putting down another section of track. It might seem slow, it might seem tedious, but once those tracks are laid, success travels along them automatically. Your habits, good or bad, are like those tracks. The discipline to lay the right tracks today determines where you'll end up tomorrow. This is the nature of discipline. The daily commitment to lay those tracks, to cast those votes, to take those small actions that compound into extraordinary success. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic changes. It's about consistent, persistent, determined action in the direction of your goals. That's the true nature of discipline, not a prison that confines you, but a power that sets you free. Not a burden that weighs you down, but a force that lifts you up. Not a punishment to endure, but a privilege to embrace. Let me tell you straight, most people aren't willing to pay the price of success. They want the rewards, the recognition, the results, but they aren't willing to pay in advance. Success has a price tag, and that price must be paid in full, upfront, with no guarantee of results. What's this price? It's getting up when others sleep in. It's working while others party. It's saving while others spend. It's studying while others watch TV. It's practicing while others play. Simple to understand, hard to do. That's why success is rare. Not because it's complicated, but because most people aren't willing to do what's uncomfortable. I spoke with a championship boxer last month. He trains 3 times a day, 6 days a week. No holidays, no excuses. While his friends are sleeping, he's running at 5 a.m. While they're at parties, he's in the gym. While they're eating whatever they want, he's measuring his portions and counting his macros. The hard part isn't the training, he told me. The hard part is watching everyone else live easy while you choose hard. Champions understand something crucial. Success isn't about doing extraordinary things. It's about doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. They master the basics. They obsess over fundamentals. They show up every day, especially when they don't feel like it. That's their mindset. They don't wait for motivation. They create it through action. Time management? Let me tell you what champions know about time. They don't manage time, they manage priorities. Everyone has 24 hours. The difference is how they spend them. Champions protect their time like a precious resource because that's exactly what it is. They understand that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something crucial. Take a successful CEO I know. Her calendar is planned 6 months in advance. Every hour is allocated to her highest priorities. When someone asks for her time, her first question is, does this align with my goals? If not, the answer is no. Sounds harsh. That's the price of success. You can't say yes to everything and still maintain the focus required for exceptional achievement. The mindset of champions includes brutal honesty with themselves. They don't make excuses. They don't blame circumstances. They don't complain about what's fair or unfair. They look in the mirror and ask, what more can I do? When they fail, they say, I failed, not it failed. They own their results completely. Here's what separates champions from everyone else. They're willing to be uncomfortable. Most people run from discomfort. Champions run toward it. They know that growth happens at the edge of their comfort zone, so that's where they live. While others seek comfort, they seek challenge. While others avoid pain, they embrace it as the price of growth. Priority setting becomes simple when you think like a champion. They ask themselves 3 questions. What's important? What's necessary? What's next? Everything else is a distraction. They don't try to do everything. They do the right things right. They focus on activities that move the needle, that create real progress toward their goals. I remember talking to an Olympic athlete about her training schedule. She said something profound. I don't have time to waste on things that don't make me better. Think about that. How much time do most people waste on things that don't make them better? How many hours scroll by on social media? How many minutes evaporate watching mindless entertainment? That's the price most aren't willing to pay. The price of saying no to the good to say yes to the great. The price of success includes saying no to almost everything. It means disappointing people sometimes. It means missing out on things others consider normal. It means being misunderstood. Champions accept this. They know that extraordinary results require extraordinary focus, and extraordinary focus requires elimination of the ordinary. Time management for champions is simple but strict. They have clear priorities and they stick to them. They don't let emergencies become urgencies. They don't let other people's priorities become their own. They guard their productive hours like a fortress and use them wisely. The price includes preparation. Champions prepare when others party. They plan when others play. They study when others sleep, not because they're superhuman, but because they understand that success is built in these quiet moments of preparation that nobody sees. Remember this: the price of success is always less than the price of regret. Yes, it's hard to get up early, to work late, to say no to distractions, but it's harder to look back on a life of mediocrity and wonder what might have been. The price of discipline weighs ounces, but the price of regret weighs tons. Let's talk about the war that happens inside your mind every single day. That voice that tells you to stay in bed, that feeling that pushes you to quit, that doubt that whispers maybe tomorrow. These aren't external enemies, they're internal obstacles, and everyone faces them. The difference is how you respond. I once met a marathon runner who told me something powerful. She said, "The race isn't won on race day. It's won in those moments when your mind screams stop, and you decide to keep going." That's where champions are made, in those private battles between comfort and growth, between easy and right, between giving up and pushing through. Your comfort zone isn't really comfortable. It's just familiar. It's like a prison with soft walls. Sure, it feels safe, but it's killing your dreams one day at a time. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're choosing to stay the same. And in a world that's constantly changing, staying the same means falling behind. Here's what most people don't understand about resistance. It's normal. It's supposed to be there. That feeling of resistance is actually a compass pointing toward growth. If you feel resistance towards something, it usually means that's exactly what you need to do. The harder it feels, the more important it probably is. Mental toughness isn't born, it's built. Like a muscle, it grows through resistance. Every time you push through when you want to quit, you're building mental toughness. Every time you do what needs to be done, despite not feeling like it, you're building mental toughness. Every time you face a fear instead of running from it, you're building mental toughness. Think about learning to swim. At first, the water feels uncomfortable, maybe even scary. But you push through that discomfort. You face that fear. And eventually, what was once terrifying becomes natural. That's how you break through resistance. One stroke at a time, one step at a time, one day at a time. Your brain is programmed to protect you from discomfort. It's an ancient survival mechanism. But in today's world, that same mechanism can hold you back. Your brain tells you to avoid the presentation because it's stressful, to skip the workout because it's hard, to stay quiet because speaking up is scary. Breaking through resistance means overriding these protective impulses when they don't serve your greater good. I remember talking to a successful entrepreneur who shared his secret for pushing through tough times. He said, "I make a deal with myself. Just 5 more minutes. When I want to quit, I say just 5 more minutes. Usually, after those 5 minutes, I can go another 5 and another. Soon, I've pushed through what I thought was impossible." This is how you build mental toughness, through small victories over yourself. Each time you push past what you thought was your limit, you create a new normal. What once seemed impossible becomes challenging. What was challenging becomes doable. What was doable becomes easy. The key to breaking through resistance is understanding that discomfort is temporary, but giving up is permanent. The pain of pushing through fades, but the pride of perseverance lasts forever. The discomfort of discipline is temporary, but the satisfaction of achievement endures. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. They give up when success is just around the corner. Why? Because the darkness is always darkest before the dawn. The resistance is always strongest right before the breakthrough. That's why mental toughness is so crucial. It keeps you going when everything inside you screams to stop. Here's a truth about breaking through resistance. It gets easier, but it never gets easy. The challenges you face will grow as you grow, but that's good news. It means you're pushing your boundaries. It means you're expanding your comfort zone. It means you're growing. The comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. Every significant achievement in your life will require you to step out of it. Every meaningful goal will demand that you face resistance. Every real success will test your mental toughness. Remember this: the size of your success is determined by the size of your comfort zone. The bigger your comfort zone, the bigger your potential for achievement. And you expand your comfort zone by constantly pushing its boundaries, by regularly doing what's uncomfortable, by consistently choosing growth over comfort. Small actions repeated daily create remarkable results. It's like a stonemason building a cathedral, one stone at a time, day after day. Each stone might seem insignificant, but put them together over time and you've built something magnificent. Let me tell you about Tom, a salesman I met in Houston. Every morning, without fail, he made 5 sales calls before 9 a.m. Not when he felt like it, not when business was slow. Every single morning. His colleagues laughed at first. "It's too early," they said. "Nobody's ready to talk business at that hour." But Tom understood something they didn't: the power of compound actions. After 1 year, those 5 daily calls had turned into 1,250 extra contacts. After 5 years, over 6,000 additional connections. Today, Tom owns the largest sales training company in Texas. The secret? No secret at all. Just small actions, multiplied by consistency, multiplied by time. Look at any successful person's daily routine. They're not doing extraordinary things. They're doing ordinary things with extraordinary consistency. Take Sarah, a best-selling author. Her routine? 500 words every morning, no excuses. Some days the words flow like water. Other days it's like pulling teeth. But she writes them anyway. 500 words might not seem like much, but multiply that by 365 days. That's 182,500 words. 2 full-length books per year, just from that one small daily habit. The compound effect works in every area of life. Fitness: 10 minutes of exercise daily might seem insignificant, but that's 60 hours of movement in a year. Learning: 1 page of reading per day equals 12 books per year. Savings: $5 a day invested wisely can grow into a fortune over decades. But here's what most people miss about the compound effect: it works both ways. Just as small positive actions compound into success, small negative actions compound into failure. Skip that workout once, no big deal. Skip it regularly, you're programming failure into your life. Those small choices that seem insignificant in the moment, they're actually votes for the person you're becoming. I spoke with the Olympic medalist about her training. Know what impressed me most? Not the intense workouts, those were expected. It was her recovery routine. Every night, without fail, she spends 15 minutes preparing for the next day. Clothes laid out, meals planned, schedule reviewed. A small routine, but multiply it over years, and it creates the mental space for excellence. The power of consistency shows up in business too. Take Robert, a restaurant owner. He noticed successful restaurants shared one habit: they checked inventory at the same time every day. Not just when they remembered, not just when things seemed off. Every day. This simple routine, maintained over time, prevented thousands in waste and saved his business during tough times. Here's what successful people know about consistency: it's not about intensity, it's about sustainability. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You need to do the right things regularly. A simple routine, maintained over time, beats an ambitious plan that's abandoned after a few weeks. Think about bamboo farmers. They plant the seeds and water them daily. Nothing happens for 4 years. The seeds are growing underground, developing a root system. In the 5th year, the bamboo shoots up 90 feet in 6 weeks. Question: did the bamboo grow 90 feet in 6 weeks, or did it grow 90 feet in 5 years? The answer is obvious when you understand the compound effect. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day and underestimate what they can accomplish in a year. They want immediate results. They want to see the bamboo shooting up right away. But success doesn't work that way. Success is built in those quiet moments, when you're doing the right things consistently, even when you can't see results yet. The compound effect teaches us patience. It shows us that the gap between actions and results is where most people quit. But that gap is also where the magic happens. It's where habits form. It's where character builds. It's where success takes root. Remember this: Consistency is far more important than intensity. A daily walk beats an occasional marathon. Regular savings beats sporadic windfalls. Steady progress beats sporadic bursts. The compound effect rewards consistency above all else. The most powerful force in the universe isn't technology or money or even knowledge. It's the compound effect of small, consistent actions over time. It's the force that turns simple disciplines into massive success. It's available to everyone but used by few. Why? Because most people aren't willing to trust the process. They want instant results in an overnight world. Let's talk about building habits that stick, habits so strong they become as natural as breathing. The key isn't motivation. Motivation comes and goes like the tide. The key is systems, routines that run on autopilot, carrying you towards success whether you feel like it or not. Start with your morning routine. The first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. I spoke with a top executive who transformed her life with one simple change. She stopped reaching for her phone first thing in the morning. Instead, she spends 20 minutes in complete silence planning her day. It's like having a meeting with success, she told me. Before the world can demand anything, I've already decided what matters most. Your evening routine is just as crucial. Think of it as setting up tomorrow's success tonight. I know a surgeon who lays out his clothes, packs his bag, and reviews his next day's schedule every evening at 9 p.m. sharp. Not sometimes, not usually, every single evening. Why? Because he understands that discipline is built through systems, not through willpower. Here's a practical system for building unshakable habits. The 3 R's: reminder, routine, reward. Your reminder is a trigger that initiates the habit. Your routine is the habit itself. Your reward is what makes the habit stick. Want to read more? Put a book on your pillow each morning. Reminder. Read 1 page when you get in bed. Routine. And mark your progress in a journal. Reward. Accountability isn't about finding someone to police your actions. It's about creating systems that make success automatic. Take Bill, a business owner I met in Seattle. Every Sunday, he sits down with his team to plan the week ahead. They don't leave that meeting until every major task has 3 things: a deadline, an owner, and a check-in date. That's an accountability system. The power of habit building lies in starting small. Too many people try to change everything at once. They make their habits too big, too complex, too demanding. Then they fail and blame themselves. But here's the truth. Start with habits so small you can't fail. Want to exercise more? Start with 1 push-up. Want to meditate? Start with 1 breath. Want to write? Start with 1 sentence. Create what I call success triggers. Environmental cues that make good habits easier and bad habits harder. Want to eat healthier? Put fruit at eye level in your fridge and junk food in hard-to-reach places. Want to watch less TV? Unplug it after each use. Want to exercise in the morning? Sleep in your workout clothes. The most powerful accountability system is the one you build with yourself. Keep a scorecard. Track your progress. Write down your commitments and review them daily. A goal without a tracking system is just a wish. A habit without accountability is like a ship without a rudder. It might move, but it won't get where you want to go. I remember talking to a weight loss champion who lost 200 pounds. Know what made the difference? Not the diet, not the exercise plan. It was his daily accountability system. Every morning he wrote down his goals. Every evening he recorded his actions. The magic, he told me, wasn't in the writing. It was in knowing I had to face that paper every evening. Build what I call habit stacks. Link new habits to existing ones. If you already brush your teeth every morning, that's a solid foundation. Want to start flossing? Link it to brushing. Want to start stretching? Do it right after flossing. Each habit becomes a trigger for the next one, creating an unbreakable chain of success. Your environment shapes your habits more than your willpower ever will. Create an environment that makes success almost automatic. A writer I know transformed her productivity by creating what she calls her success station. A desk used only for writing with no internet connection, no phone, nothing but her computer and her work. Remember this, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. The same way money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. A small change in your daily routine might seem insignificant today, but it can be the difference between who you are and who you could become. Your discipline today becomes someone else's inspiration tomorrow. Think about that. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're not just changing your life. You're showing others what's possible with commitment and consistency. I met a father in Minnesota who transformed his health through disciplined exercise and nutrition. One day, his teenage daughter came to him with tears in her eyes. "Dad," she said, "watching you change your life gave me courage to change mine." His discipline had created a legacy far beyond his own success. His daily choices had taught his children something no lecture ever could: the power of persistent action. Your legacy isn't just what you leave behind, it's what you build every day through disciplined choices. When you choose discipline, you're voting for a future bigger than yourself. You're creating ripples that touch lives you may never meet, influence people you may never know. Think about the teachers who shaped your life, the mentors who guided your path, the leaders who inspired your journey. What made them special wasn't just their knowledge, it was their discipline. The discipline to show up every day, the discipline to maintain high standards, the discipline to care consistently. Long-term vision requires long-term discipline. Anyone can be disciplined for a day, a week, even a month. But true legacy builders maintain discipline for years, decades, lifetimes. They understand that today's choices create tomorrow's reality. They see beyond immediate gratification to long-term impact. Take Maria, a small business owner I met. Every Friday, she spends 2 hours mentoring young entrepreneurs. Not when it's convenient. Not when business is good. Every Friday. "My success means nothing," she told me, "if it doesn't lift others up." Her discipline isn't just about building her business. It's about building a better future for her community. Your discipline creates a standard for others to follow. When you maintain high standards in your work, you inspire others to raise their standards. When you keep your promises, you teach others the value of integrity. When you persist through challenges, you show others the power of resilience. The greatest legacy of discipline isn't found in achievements or accolades. It's found in the lives you touch, the examples you set, the standards you maintain. Your discipline today becomes someone's hope tomorrow, someone's inspiration next week, someone's success story next year. Think beyond yourself. Your discipline isn't just about your goals, your dreams, your success. It's about contributing to something larger than yourself. It's about setting in motion forces that continue long after you're gone. It's about building a legacy that serves others. I remember talking to an architect who designed sustainable buildings. She told me, "Every decision I make affects people for generations. That requires a discipline that goes beyond my lifetime." That's legacy thinking, that's disciplined vision, that's understanding the greater purpose of your daily choices. Your discipline today is writing tomorrow's history. Every disciplined choice, every maintained standard, every kept promise, they're all threads in the tapestry of your legacy. Make them strong, make them worthy, make them count. The moment has arrived. Right now, in this instant, you face a choice that will echo through time. The choice to act with discipline, starting today, starting now. And take out a piece of paper. Write down your most important goal. Not 3 goals, not 5 goals, 1 goal, the one that matters most. Now write down the first 3 actions you'll take toward that goal. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. The world is filled with people waiting for the perfect moment to start, but champions know the truth. The perfect moment is now. While others wait for motivation, wait for conditions, wait for permission, you must act. Your future is being written by the actions you take in this moment. I want you to make a commitment right now. A commitment to one small, disciplined action you'll take every single day. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it's making one important phone call. Maybe it's writing 1 page. Choose your action. Commit to it. Start today. And set up your accountability system before you leave this room. Find a calendar. Mark an X for each day you complete your committed action. Don't break the chain. Don't make excuses. Don't wait for motivation. Just do it every single day, no matter what. Remember what we've learned. Discipline wins every time, not sometimes, not usually, every single time. Your competition is out there right now, working, preparing, pushing forward. Every moment you wait is a moment they gain ground. Think about where you'll be 1 year from now if you start today. Think about the compound effect of your disciplined actions multiplied by 365 days. Now think about where you'll be if you wait, if you procrastinate, if you make excuses as the clock is ticking. Time moves forward whether you act or not. Your future is being shaped by the choices you make right now. Will you choose discipline? Will you choose success? Will you choose to start now? Don't leave this moment without taking action. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. The perfect place is here. The perfect person is you. Stand up. Take action. Start now. Your legacy is waiting. Your success is waiting. Your future is waiting. Remember, discipline wins every time. Now go prove it.